Welcome, welcome. Dr. Stephen Hobbs here from the International Mentoring Community. I serve as co-founder and director of certification for the two certificates that are currently available, Certificate of Achievement Mentoring and Certificate of Competence Mentor. And we're bringing new ones on online here soon. But I also like to introduce Doug. Doug, you want to share who you are?
Yes, I most certainly can. My name is Doug Lawrence, and I am a co-founder of the International Mentoring Community, and I'm also the Director of Education.
And the two of us just recently completed a 2-hour community conversation on mentoring, and a topic came to mind that we thought we would share with you, and we're going to turn to a picture to get that started. Yes, the picture you see before you is actually something that sort of reminded Doug and I of this conversation we wanted to share with you. And what we're going to do is go out on a limb here because of what's happening in the world today, being that this is April of 2020. And the key thing is that we were jokingly saying, okay, where are we on the limb and who has the saw? Because the limb is there, which is what we want to share with you. We could be holding the saw and sawing something in front of us, or we could have the saw behind us, trimming the tree, or someone else could be holding the saw and trimming this tree. And we wanted to put it out because we wanted people to understand is that it's important that you do go out on the limb. And it is important that you trim up what's going on. And in our case, we're going to hold the chainsaw in this case. So here we go with what we want to share with you. This notion is that the presence of mentorship works through the mentor as competent practice. And that's important to us is because mentorship is the domain of knowledge and skills and attitude about serving as a mentor, and in our case, looking at the competent practice of mentoring.
And I'm just going to jump in here on this one because this one is one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about, and that is the practice of mentoring, but the practice of mentoring from a competence perspective is extremely important. And what I'm finding is that the marketplace or the industry, whichever term you care to use, is becoming more and more savvy and is starting to ask the questions around the aspect of why would I want to engage with you? How can you demonstrate to me what your level of competence?
For sure. So this statement here is going to lead us into the statements that follow. From a place of lived experience and a willingness to share insights, a mentor commits to the betterment of persons by adding value like truth, worth, and usefulness. So the persons can experience fairness and respect while exploring and discovering the essence of living free. This is one of the core elements that Doug and I share, is that we know it's about lived experience and it's a willingness to share those insights and to do it for the betterment, to do it with fairness and respect, to do it so that a person can feel the essence of living free. And that's important to us. Doug, you want to share anything here?
Well, certainly from the aspect of lived experience and how we share that lived experience through the aspect of story sharing or storytelling is really important. And what that demonstrates from my perspective is by using that as a tool or a technique in order to help the mentee move forward, what that is that has become now a level of competence that an individual has to have to be able to do that, so that they can in fact experience fairness and respect and the essence of living free.
Yeah, and those stories that we tell and share have to come from a place of truth, worth, and usefulness,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to just start sharing stories for the sake of sharing stories to fill the time. That's not what this is about.
No,
And
there has to be, and we talked about this yesterday when we were doing some recording. Was from some of the stories that came out of that was there has to be some relevance, something that, so you tell the story, it has to be something that is relevant so that the mentee can sort of see themselves in that picture or in that story.
for sure. And by reading this out, I'm doing it in our voice and sharing some comments because it's the next slide that where we're going out on the limb, because we believe that there's something important that needs to be said. There is a caveat for those who mentor. Just because you have lived experience and a willingness to share your experience with others does not mean you should, must, or can. There's a lot of people hanging up a shingle and they might put coach or mentor on it. And then what they're going to do is, oh, well, I have lived experience. I've gone through this. I've gone through that. I've done this many years of this. But yet you may not know enough about what it means to mentor, to be in the mentoring process. And so we're offering a caution for those who are just going to simply hang up a shingle, think they're going to create a business, because we need to take care of that mentee.
And I think if nothing else, we've reached a time and a place in the world today where mentoring can make a absolutely huge difference with everything that's been going on. But it's only if it's going to be done in a fashion where the mentors have a degree of competence so that they can practice to be able to take the knowledge that they have gained and practically apply that in a practical sense. And we need them to be able to be competent in doing so because they are changing lives by engaging in that mentoring experience.
Therefore, in the calling to mentor, do so with caring for the betterment of others so they can witness the values of truth, worth, and usefulness for living fair and free. Yes, there's this calling to mentor. And the calling has to come from a deeper, richer element of who you are to be able to then step up into that, to set it up, to step forward, to stay found in this world of mentoring. It's not just something that you can just walk into and be a mentor. You can.
Yeah.
I would offer to you, it wouldn't be of service to the mentee if you did so.
And I think there would be a lack of the mentor being genuine and actually demonstrating the caring part as well. So it's really important that you understand the calling to be a mentor. And I'm going to go even further and say to be an effective mentor, because we can all be mentors, but what is sort of the outcomes that we're going to generate or realize as a result of that? So understanding what your calling is and doing so from a place where of caring, so that you understand that it is, as you know, as this slide depicts, for the betterment of others. And it's not, what's in it for me is not part of the equation whatsoever. It's how can I help somebody to be able to go on their journey to be able to be that much better of a person personally and professionally.
If a person does go into it knowing that there is something that they can learn from it, that's wonderful. But this next piece is, if your involvement as mentor is for something else, then think and feel heartfully about what you're being, having, and doing before you mentor. Be crystal clear about the intention behind mentoring. If you're going to step into this if you're going to move forward with this, then be really clear from your head, heart, and hands that you are doing mentoring and doing it correctly.
And I think, everything you said is bang on. But what it forces us to do is actually go back and revisit that calling. What is that calling? What's the message that it's sending to me? What are the things that it's telling me I need to be aware of in order to be able to get to a place where you're going to feel heartfully about what you're being, having, and doing, because you're going to actually change lives with what it is that you're doing.
And changing the life of a person actually has a ripple effect of family, friends, work colleagues, community. There is a very large ripple effect for the mentor and the mentee. And to do it correctly, then there is this improvement, strength, focusing of what you can offer into the world and be for the world. Therefore, as a mentor, you are a custodian, a steward in service for the world, for whatever it is that you're sharing and helping. And you are a custodian for the practice of mentoring, custodian for the presence of mentorship, custodian for the competence of mentor, and a custodian for the contribution of serving as a mentor. So from my heart, head, and hands to you, as you listen to this, as you move into the world of mentoring, or you're strengthening your approach to mentoring, do so knowing that you're a custodian for the mentee and serving them, but also you are a custodian for the practice, the presence, the competence associated with mentoring.
And I would add one more word, and that's the contribution of serving. And it's more than one word, but it's the contribution of serving as a mentor.
Yes. And we wanted to take the time today to share this with you because we've been noticing some things that I'm not quite sure we would want to back or promote, and we need to step into a place where, yes, we're out on a limb. We're asking people to step up and not put themselves on a limb where the chainsaw or the pruning saw is behind them. Yes, you sometimes have to go out on the limb, but we don't want people hurt, for those who mentor or those who are receiving the mentoring, the mentee, protege, the learner. So we wanted to bring this to your attention today. Doug, anything to close off?
No, I think this slide speaks to the majority of the things that I think that we want to share with people listening. And that's, the word practice, presence, competence, and contribution. And those four words say a lot.
Yes. So with that, take care.